Good evening, Geraldine Leahy is my name and I'm the Leaving Cert Applied Coordinator here at Coláiste Pobal Satanta. So the programme, it's a 2-year programme that students enter after their junior cycle. It's a very practical and hands-on programme and I'm going to give you a little bit more detail on that now. So what subjects do they do in Leaving Cert Applied? Well, a very important aspect of the programme is career preparation and guidance, and the practical element of that is really the work experience that they do. So they do 1 day of work experience every week. They do English and Communications, which is again quite a practical approach to English. The same with maths. They do an excellent subject called HCT, Hotel Catering Tourism, which involves some cookery, and again it's something that they can take into their working world. They do a lot of ICT, so they really develop their skills in technology and computers in this course. They do modules of art and music. They also have a choice between construction and hair and beauty or childcare. A very important subject called social ed, which really gives them an insight into the times we live in and life around them. They do languages, but they only do each language for 1 year. So for example, if they start in 5th year doing Irish, they do the exam and everything about that subject for that year. And then the following year, they take the alternative modern language. So it could be either German, Spanish or French. And they also do a subject called leisure and recreation. So as I've mentioned, work experience is a really important element in the programme. They do different modules within that. So over the period of 2 years, they do 4 different work placements. So 1 per session, and the whole course is divided into 4 sessions. So 1 day each week, students learn the knowledge and the experience of what it's like out in the working world. It also provides them with an understanding of what they need to achieve throughout this course to excel in their chosen career. And a lot of students we find who do really well on work experience, some of them actually get part-time work from it. So it's a really beneficial and practical element of the course. So how are students assessed in Leaving Cert Applied? And this is really what sets it apart from traditional Leaving Cert. So there's a huge element in here of continuous assessment, and it's really important that students know that from the beginning. So there's 90% attendance is required and punctuality in each subject. So they have to complete modules in each subject over the course of each session. And for that, over their 2 years, they'd receive 62 credits or 31% overall. So what that means is they have to be in all of their classes at least 90% of the time, and they have to complete certain pieces of work which are called key assignments. And if they do that, they've got a really good chance of getting full credits in that section. The other element they do are tasks. So tasks I'll talk a little bit about in a few minutes, but they're very practical projects that students become involved in. They could be group or individual tasks. And for those, they do 7 of those over the 2 years. They get 70 credits for that. And you can see that's worth roughly another third or 35% of their total marks. They do final exams in about 6 subjects. Again, I'll talk about that on a different slide. And they get 68 credits for their exams, again, roughly 34%. So in total, they can get 200 credits in total, but you can see how easy it is for them to build up those credits as they're going along. That there is an exam element in there, but it's not the full element for the Leaving Cert Applied. So you can see here, once they receive their credits at the end of their 2 years, that they can be awarded at 3 levels. It's important to say that in the course of the 2 years, they get several updates from the Department of Education about where they're at with that continuous assessment. So for instance, around January, February of 5th year, they'll receive already their credits for the first quarter of their whole course. So they're being updated all the time, and we would certainly let students know exactly where they're at in that process. So to get a pass, they would get 120 to 139 credits, which would be the percentage there you see is 60 to 69. To receive a merit, they obviously need to achieve more credits, and that would be an overall percentage between 70 and 84. And to get a distinction, they need to achieve 170 to 200 credits, or over 85% in the overall, everything they've done, including exams, tasks, and continuous assessment over the 2 years. And we would have quite a number of students here over the years who receive distinctions and merits. So it's very, very achievable for students. Now, in the final exam, which they sit in June of 6th year, as I mentioned before, the language they do at the end of 5th year, and then they'll take up a new language in 6th year. But they will do all these exams at the end of their 6th year. So they do an English and communication exam that would be written and oral. They do a hotel catering and tourism exam. They do IT, which also has a practical element. They do maths applications, and they do either or of the language that they haven't done in 5th year. And then social ed is the final exam that they do at that time in June. Now, I've mentioned tasks already, and they do 7 tasks over the course of their 2 years. The tasks are worth 70 credits and roughly about a third of their marks overall. So it's really worth students' while getting involved, and they have to write a really detailed report, and at the end of that an examiner comes in to interview them about it. So if we just look at the slide, practical activity is what it is. It's very practical. So it could be the development of a product. It could be the investigation of an issue, maybe in social ed. It could be the provision of a service. It could be the staging of an event. So you can see by the pictures there, one task that students do every year in HCT is providing a meal for staff and everything that goes in relation to making that event happen. So the tasks then are across all the different subjects and curriculums, and they're very cross-curricular. So a couple of subjects will link in together. And at the end of the process, an examiner from outside comes in and they will interview that student about the part they played in that task. So with Leaving Cert Applied, we like to ensure that there's also a fun aspect. So students get a chance to do lots of bonding trips and activities outside the school, but they're also a really important part of their programme. So every subject will have the key assignments that they have in there will often involve maybe a visitor or a trip or a speaker or a workshop. And we incorporate those activities whenever we can. So sometimes parents would have concern as to if this is the correct course for their son or daughter. Well, just to assure you that we are here all the time to answer any questions you have in relation to this. Very often it would be a tutor or a year head that might identify a student as being a perfect candidate for Leaving Cert Applied. And we would certainly contact you and have a chat with you in relation to that. If at any time you have any concerns or questions, you can contact us here in the college at any time. So myself, Geraldine Leahy, or a year head or somebody from the guidance department. And sometimes that's in relation to progression, what can a student do after they leave. So they're important questions, and to link in with a guidance counsellor. We'll be given the same information to students as well. So I hope I'm just going to leave here with some quotes from our students as to why they chose the Leaving Cert Applied programme. And I hope you've gotten something out of the talk and it gives you some indication of what Leaving Cert Applied is about. Thank you.